So, Ahly versus Zanaco. Let's look at the two lineups that the two coaches made. Now, Coach Fatih, let me bring you in here. Now, Zanaco actually played an interesting game here. I was always asking myself, how will Numba play? Would he play with one striker? Does he play with two? Does he play with someone in the hole? How does he want the wingers to operate? So, it started with Ahly playing 4-2-3-1 and Zanaco going for 4-1-3-2. But of course, those tactical questions began to be answered as the game progressed.
I think the two teams, they play similar in formation. It's 4-3-3 generally, and the way we put it here is we split the lines during in the position of attack and also in the position of defense. So Zanaco, who is trying to close the winger, because the strength for Ahly is the two winger, right and left, and the back, because also when they move on one side they use half right and the back right, and most of the time they make the overlap. So we try to close the dangers of Ahly from the wing. Most of the time within this defensive formation, when he's defending, he play with one striker only, Sid Sakala, so the other striker, Niemba, drove in the midfield to increase the number on the midfield.
Okay, let's look at Ahly in attack. They enjoyed the lion's share of possession in the first half. Let's just have a look at what they were doing in attack. So Ahly in attack. Now look at this. Very intelligent team here, Dennis, is that they play 4-3-3. Now with most teams that play 4-3-3, they want to use the numerical advantage, especially for teams that don't play with three in the middle like them. So you had a situation where now they go up, play through the lines, move the team structure up the pitch. But look at the movement of Malau and Ahmed Fatih, the two fullbacks. And I don't know whether that's lack of respect for Zanaco. But when a team starts allowing both fullbacks to be going up, it makes interesting tactical reading.
Yeah, I think Zita, I think you've watched most of the games. Even Zesco is the same. When we are playing, whether away or home, we don't like pushing, like fullbacks attacking. We normally stay behind. So no wonder Ahly, is it Ahly? Ahly. They knew, because I remember the last time I played Egyptian side, I was on the pitch. At half time we went to see in the dressing room. They had drawn all these fullbacks. I was on the other side. Joseph Musonda was on the other side. Zanaco. So they knew, oh, these guys are not moving. So what do? They push the fullback together with the attacking midfield. That one. That's how the Arabs play. I think coach knows. Okay, now tell you what, Zanaco by consequence start playing with a flat back four, where Taonga, Wembe and Chongochira are not going forward as much as they would like, because they need to check Malau, they need to check the wing forward, and that's what begins to obtain on the pitch. What are your reflections of that tactic by Ahly?
Well, Ahly, he start build up from behind, and it didn't take long for build up. He starts progressing wide. When they're building in the half, they open wide. They open the game. Immediately started progressing to Zanaco half. He continue wide, then he start going in. This is why we don't find too many crosses from the far end, from the byline. From the byline. He just when he reached the edge of 18, he start. Now the two strikers, 28 and 8, the Nigerian and the number 8, they was always changing.
Yes.
Cross changing. Within this time, the deep pass come or the switch come, because they didn't go to the far end and start making cross from the far end. All the all the break it was in the edge of 18 area of Zanaco. So this is why you find Ahly was shooting a lot of balls from outside the 18 area, and also the chance the one they get to switch on the inside the box. 28 he lobbed it over Tosta, but it hit the bar and reflect on the ground again.
All right, so let's just discuss Zanaco's shape in transition, because whilst Ahly were playing through the lines and getting the job done in that respect, let's just look at the shape when they were moving in transition. So Peter Jacob Banda and George Chilufya were the central defensive configuration for Zanaco. Now, this one is not what we actually know, but they were actually winning a lot of the second balls and the first balls. They were getting a good fare. When they get the ball, look at that. If NS Mbewe gets on the ball there, you've got Nyayende, the shirt number 24, and Seth Sakala, the number 7, actually a little bit apart, but they are actually showing him, go to the line, but they are already closing him. Malawi is closing him down. The second defensive midfielder is closing him down. Hegazi is man-to-man with Felix Nyayende, just in case they want to play a war pass on him. How important does this tactic become in the balance of play, Dennis?
Well, I thought as Zanaco we were taking too much time to go into attack. All the time it was 3 against 2. When Zanaco was attacking, it was three early defenders against 2
strikers.
Yeah, strikers. So I thought we didn't do well. Maybe when in transition, we didn't realize that this is the time now we have to go. Now we are in attack.
Now, let me just bring in Fatih here. Now, look at this. You've got a Zanaco side that has got pace. NS Mbewe, very quick player. He will bend most defenses. You've got Augustine Lenga, but of course, he likes to drift into the central areas. When that begins to happen, in terms of positioning, because Ahly are playing through the lines, by the time they win the ball back, they are actually in their own half, and they have to make a 50-meter run to get a direct impact on goal.
See, the defense for Zanaco, the tactic was very good for Zanaco. Numba is one of the intelligent coaches. When they win the ball, for them to make the transition, it was to play to Seth Sakala. For the midfield now, to push behind Seth Sakala, the defense line, he has to push the midfield line to progress from defense to attack. So the defense line was a bit slow. After they played the ball, it was a bit slow to push
the lines up.
This is why the midfield was a bit hesitating. We push behind Seth Sakala, we leave a gap between us and the defense. This is why Ahly can use this gap. Sometimes the Ahly use it, but sometimes also this is why Zanaco wasn't dangerous after 10 minutes. We didn't see any dangers for Zanaco after 10 minutes of the game, because the defense line was not fast to push. Maybe I think the team, from my opinion, the team was a bit tired. Too many games, the league and the travel. Also, the captain Zio wasn't there, because Zio play a very big role as a team, as a leader. He gives confidence to the defense line. This is why most of the time, if you watch him, he's pushing his line to the midfield. This is why Zanaco is very comfortable in the attack. But Ahly also is very sharp in that point. They always balance the defense line. This is why we find too many offside against Zanaco. Set is in the offside. So this is why they manage always offside. If Zanaco they already play away from the 18 area. So most of the game they was locked in the midfield, and the demand when Ahly win the ball start progressing. This is why most of the game has been playing in the half of Zanaco.
Yeah, I think what you've said, Coach. I think it as well came to a position where you say what can I say? someone who's played more games is better than someone who has played
So,
less games.
how does the battle of freshness actually come in? You're playing a team that is actually going to work. We know that Ahly are going to put the ball on the ground. They're going to play through the line. So forget about them playing long and you having an easier shift at the office. So probably Zanaco should have expected that.
Yeah, obviously, the way that we know the way the Arab countries play. Most of the times we just know, oh, they'll come counter-attack. They wait for you to play the game, but it was different this time.
Yeah, ball position.
They were also playing. Most of the times when we play these Arab countries, I've played a lot of teams from this side. They wait for you, they will stay behind, they just catch you on a counter. But this time it was different. This was the most different game that I've watched.
Well,
an Arab country
they controlled the game. They controlled the game.
Because most of the game in the midfield and the defense line for Ahly was pushing towards the midfield. This is why if Zanaco they try to progress, sometimes Seti, if he wants to win the ball, he's supposed to go very wide. So when he received the ball on the line, so where is the midfield now, the one he's supposed to progress for the...
Bypass. So, anyway, let's just look at the duos in midfield because we are getting deeper into the tactical details of that game. Now, default from their formation, actually Zanaco, if they play Sakala up top as what we suspected they would do, it then created a deficiency in central midfield because for him to rush to be the strike partner and the link with Nyainde, the distance probably didn't need to be very big. But defensively, the downside is this. 3v2 in the central areas. Now, this is coming from the formation, Coach Fati, and I'm just thinking,
you can see the Ahly is the yellow one, the 3 inside the circle. Okay, this is the zone of action. There is 3 yellow, this is for Ahly, and 2 red for Zanaco. So obviously 3v2 all the time. This is why the demand of the midfield was for Ahly, not for Zanaco. So any progress, even if Zanaco win the ball in the midfield, it was very difficult for them to progress because even you can see 21 and 5, the center back is already marking the striker, Nindi, and the number 1 is very close to him. So it's very difficult for him to survive.
Yeah, very difficult for him to survive. But I'm also thinking, if you're Ernest Mbewe and Augustine Mlenga, you're watching that, is that if we have the ball in the central areas, our teammates are being outnumbered. So the natural instinct of the player is to get inside. But once they get sucked in, it then creates space for Ahmed Fati and Malau to actually go forward in those wide areas.
But I think if the way they were playing, if we get Ernest and Augustine, they drift inside to come and cross the midfield. Meaning the Tawanga Wembia and the other one have to play like wing to wing. The number 3.
Like they need to play like wing backs. But
yeah.
Do they have the fuel for that?
That's the question.
Tactically, do you think Numba would want them to actually run wing to wing?
No. Numba is it 1-4-4-2?
Okay, that's what he prefers.
Yeah.
But here's the little trick. Now, Ahly also enjoyed possession, but there's one point that we probably need to discuss, becomes very cardinal in analysis of this game, is fragmentation of the Zanaco line. Of course, we've made apparent reference to what was happening, but look at this, Coach Fati. Now, when they bring in Didi Kitumbo in the latter stages of the game, something is happening. It's 3v2. Boyd Msonda now becomes second striker, but he has to play the same role that says Sakala had. He has to come back deep, try to offer numbers and support in central midfield, and run back and provide thrust. How easy or difficult is that?
It was a bit difficult because it's a lot of job for him to do, but the easiest way is this supposed to drop the ball wide and to push the back right and the back left. If the ball in the right, they're supposed to push the back right in the attack. But the problem is the defense for Zanaco. I feel like because Zitumbo was not there, they lose confidence a little bit. They was a bit worried about any breakdown. This is why they didn't involve too much in the attack. This is why Zanaco looks more defensive. But I think Lumba, he knows the capacity for his player. Even in the interview before the game, he said, I'm losing Zitumbo, the captain, and the defender is not playing this game. And he knows also that's his capacity for his player. And also he knows if this one he push, maybe, will be reluctant to drop back, then it will cost the team.
But I'm just thinking, just on that point, in terms of Zanaco like to almost form a diamond shape when they are attacking. The defensive midfielder sits and the attacking probe actually goes forward. Almost like forming a diamond. And we hardly saw them standing square of each other. Even in transition, they would win the ball back without the two central defensive midfielders actually needing or getting to stand square. Is that an issue?
Yeah, I think it's an issue. I was watching and I was thinking they were lacking leadership. I think they really missed the zeal.
What do you say, Coach Fati? Now, you are playing a team that plays out. If you are going to play out, your transitional shape probably is not the best. You probably need to tweak it a bit, begin to pull Ahly players out of their natural compact positions. But it was hard.
No, he has to change because the problem when Zanaco, when they lose the ball, Ahly didn't attack from the same side. Immediately Ahly win the ball, he changed the side of attack. He shifted from left to right.
Talking about that same point, let's show you something. Ahly began to double team. Now, we're talking about 3v2 in the central areas. Let's just look at this. Now, here's the contest, gentlemen. 3v2. So, say Sakala comes and they're able to diffuse that numerical disadvantage they had in the central areas. But look at where the number 19, Said, actually goes. He actually makes a diagonal run to the right, beginning to double team Tawonga Wembia against, Said and Malau there. So it becomes 3v2 in the wide areas. And already from there, then as you can see, Ernest Mbewe needs to put in a better defensive performance, or else Ahly are about to make that Tawonga Wembia and there's nobody to cover him.
Yeah, actually, where Zanaco lost the ball, it was in bad areas. They would make a breakdown. Ernest Mbewe had already gone up, and then they lose the ball. And then it was the Egyptians were very good to go into a counter attacks. They were making it three. Sometimes it was 3 against 1. I think, if I can remember. Yeah,
3 against 1 now in the wide areas. And you are thinking, this is the level of football. Now, the ability of the Zanaco players to respond. The work of the coach now becomes ever so difficult. Is that the target is now moving?
No, the coach is already built his plan, but sometimes the player, that's his capacity, or the player is tired. So the issue is, Ahly, he knows Zanaco, they know about Ahly, they're playing wing. This is why they was using the wing, but they didn't use it up to the end. They usually drop number 9 to number 19. Number 19 is coming. What's his job? Is to receive the ball, to make the deep pass to the other striker, the one coming to shoot. This is why there was no too many crosses in this game from Ahly. There was a lot of shooting. And why is there shooting? Because Ahly, he knows they didn't progress up to the end.
Except for the fullbacks, they were actually putting in some crosses. Let's discuss the match statistics, shall we? Because now, let's paint the picture. 0-0 it finished. Perhaps that's the most important statistic. But look at this. Ahly didn't need to win the second ball that much because of what was happening in terms of the Zanaco attack. But yeah, that statistic you're talking about crosses. Only 6 for Ahly compared to 20 for Zanaco, traditional wing play team. Then if you look at the shots on target, 6 for Zanaco compared to 4 for Ahly. Shots off target, talking about shooting practice, they got 8 compared to only 7 for Zanaco. Now, that return, Dennis, if probably they put in 20 crosses, probably they just didn't work according to script. They should have gotten goals.
Yeah,
if you are Zanaco and you're looking at this.
I thought, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, because I know Numba is my good man. The way that Zanaco plans, it's always wing play and shooting all the time. That's what they work on. Every time we go, I've been to Zanaco sessions. I sit there, I'm watching what are they doing. Most of the times it's shooting, working on finishing from crosses and stuff.
Yeah, but
I'm surprised that the things that they work on too much. Obviously, on the defense, they'll be working on it, defending from those crosses. You try to close them, and then when you're attacking, they'll also be working on crosses and shooting. But I was surprised Zanaco did too little.
So what could he be saying to the players? I know in the post-match briefing you're saying he loved the marked improvement in the performance compared to the way they played against Cotton Sport, Coach Fatih.
I think his game plan, it works very well. He also, in most of the time, of course, he didn't demand the midfield, but also, if we look at Ahly, there was too many passes front of the midfield of Zanaco. So you can say, okay, you can make 100 passes front of me, but the only way to progress is to break my line. So his midfield also succeed to delay the attack of Ahly too many times. The only issue he's not progressing in the attack, and he's playing at home, need to win, so he doesn't want to take risk. Even Ahly also, he doesn't want to take risk. I think last 15 minutes of the game, we see the two coaches like they accept the result. Like making a change.
Like
this
we
one,
sort each other out.
They start making one change this one.
You know what we call that one? We say, I'm Zambian coach. We say, they can vatere kumenso. That's what was happening. They are playing. As long as you are
it doesn't matter.
It's okay.
Okay, they can make a picnic outside but not inside. Okay, so it was a new central defensive pairing for Zanaco in view of Zio Tembo's suspension. Peter Jacob Banda actually came in for the Zanaco captain. That's how George Chilufya actually play in central defense. But one interesting observation is that at the beginning of the game, we saw a bit of switch of positions between the two central defenders, where Peter would go to the right, George to the left, and vice versa until they could manage their threat. Let's see how that central defensive combination actually worked and what they were able to do. Let's have a look at the statistics they actually managed to rake in, that central defensive pairing. Now, you've got George Chilufya and Peter Banda, relatively young player. They both played 90 minutes. They both accounted for 9 blocks and interceptions. The central defensive pairing did not concede any goals, and they did not concede. They did not get booked in that game. What do you make of the performance of that central defensive pairing?
I think they did good job, despite sometimes they was a bit slow to come together to close some shooting and balance the defense. From time to time, I see the defense of Zanaco was not balanced as a one line. This is why there was no too many offside against Ahly, and also too many deep pass come and that switch come. But I think Tostan Sabata played very big role as a goalkeeper to protect these two center back, so far they are very disciplined. They try their best, despite the pressure of the game. They have to make sure they have positive result from this game, and they did good job. I'm happy with their performance.
Okay, so Peter Paul Banda, young player, came on, didn't concede. The team didn't lose, so I'm sure he'll be moving with his head high. Dennis.
Yeah, I think I was very happy with the performance of the young man. I thought maybe they could have done better because Ahly almost got a goal. I think that was in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, talking about the man who almost got a goal, hit the post for Ahly, is Olufemi Ajayi. Let's just have a look at what he was doing. This man was coming short, the top man for Ahly in that 4-3-3 formation. Now, Coach Fatih, let's look at this. Now, because Zanaco have retreated almost to the edge of their own 18 area, so you have practically 4v2, but in the central areas, it's actually 3v1. Ajayi is actually coming short. We see this with strikers that in the exact same position, some would actually stick in the channels, some would actually want to come short and collect, and that was what Ajayi was doing and creating that space at the back. Now, if you are Ahly, you are thinking, we didn't score any goals today, would you have recommended to say, Ajayi, don't come short, stick so that we can allow runners from deep and those playing in between the lines to probably try to get us a goal?
Ajayi is very skillful striker, very good technique, but he's slow. So if you tell him to play with the last man, for him to progress from attack to defense, to come from this line to the midfield, with the speed of the game, most of the time he'll be an offside, in the offside. So for him, because he's a bit slow, and the coach, he knows his capacity, so this is why they try to open wide to stretch the defense of Zanaco. Meantime, he's just delay himself a little bit to face the goal, to face Tosta. This is why I was ready for the deep pass or 1-2 or that switch. This is why he made the ball very well and played, but the ball, thanks God, it didn't go in, and Zanaco survived this game.
Okay, talking about survival, let's look at the short structure that Ahly managed to rake in this game. Now, Dennis, when we look at the short structure that Ahly managed to put in, they were a very tenacious side. They were able to create chances and open the game up. Now, look at that. Look at how many times they got shots there. Where the ball is, there are the shots on target. But look at where they were missing from.
Yeah, I think Ahly did a lot of homework after they played Zanaco, because even in Egypt, I think they missed a lot of chances. They created a lot in the box, just like when they came here in Zambia. So I think both coaches did their homeworks. Zanaco did their homework. Let's not allow them put the balls in here.
Coach Fatih, when you look at that one,
like what I told you,
who will be happier? Number when he looks at that and says, you didn't do anything. Or Ahly will be saying, how on earth did we not win? We had chances galore.
I think the Tosta played very big role in this game. I think also like the way you have shown the shooting, all of them from front of the 18 area. The plan is not to make too many crosses. They know the defense for Zanaco is very good in the air ball. You know Tosta is very good in the air ball. So the only way is to stretch the defense from the midfield. When they're heading to the 18 area, they start dropping the ball to the midfield for the midfielder to start shooting, or to make deep pass for the striker to finish.
Okay, finally, let's look at the Zanaco shot structure. And then, I don't know what to say, but one shot on target by Felix Nyaende in that position, Dennis. We had a shot from Tawanga Wembia that went over, Boyd went over, and Saith failed to connect properly with the header. It went out. But that's all we can report about shots on target from a team that loves to get goals, always gets goals.
Yeah, I think from even the previous shows that we've had, I've always spoken about the numbers tactics as attacking. But for this one, I was thinking to myself, like, what's happening now? Because Zanaco, as I know it, it's always attacking, crossing.
But this is Ahly. It wasn't Mickey Mouse team from
I know, but
behind the corner.
If you saw the game that they played in Egypt, I think Ahly were missing chances. Even Zanaco were creating, but in this game I didn't think Zanaco created.
I think the player, from personal opinion as a coach, the player that tired. The coach, he did very good job, and I think Zanaco they play in Morocco better than this game.
Okay, so I think they need to get something against Sweden.
On the tiredness, from what coach is saying here, from tiredness, even me, yes. I said we played some games. We played on Wednesday, Saturday, and because we are not used. You see, but if you see, if you look at the Mazembe, Mamelodi, Sundown, my favorite.
They haven't had an off season in 2 years.
No. About the season, you remind me, Ahly is already finished the season.
Yeah.
So the pressure, no pressure. They already won the league.
They just played.
Already motivated.
Yeah.
They finished, no pressure. The pressure was in this game only.
Okay.
Zanaco, they have two aspects: is to remain the league. And also the
who qualifies? Who qualifies, gentlemen?
For
the next round.
No, I think it's 50-50 because
for everyone.
Ahly, the game is open with Cotton Sport. If they draw, will be out. Zanaco, if the draw is El Wydad out. El Wydad, by all means, he must win in Morocco and Zanaco and Ahly must win for Zanaco. So there is chance for these three teams. Ahly, Zanaco, and Wydad. My wish is Ahly to win in Egypt and Zanaco to draw in Morocco. So Zanaco will be number 1.
Ahly number 2. Wow.
I think even for me it's
and it's Zanaco, very possible.
Yeah. This is a Zambian coach.
It's Zanaco in the Ahly. I think I remember the last time I played the Ahly, Zanaco versus Ahly in Egypt. Our chairman said he will pay you $15,000. Wow, that time I had never seen even. I think that was the first time I was getting.
Okay, we'll talk about the $15,000, and if at all you got it.